Hi, I'm Alex Paulton. I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Talking Timepieces. And today we're going to talk about the Victorinox I.N.O.X. Now, the name is actually an acronymic pun. In other words, it's an acronym that's designed to sound like an actual word, but each letter actually means something. In this case, the I.N.O.X. Refers to inoxidable, which is a European, is used in a few languages. That's why I say a European word. And actually, you could probably get away with it in English, in fancy writing or something. But essentially, inoxidable means non-oxidizable, which means no rust, which means rust-free. So rust-free steel, stainless steel. So essentially, it's calling itself stainless, which obviously it is made of stainless steel. And the acronym itself stands for Impact Neutralizing Object for Extremes. So basically, it's a stainless steel watch designed for extreme environments. And coming from the Swiss Army knife company, or I should say one of, but the most familiar of them. And Victorinox, in their 130th anniversary in 2014, decided to create a watch. They were getting into the watch space. They've been getting into the watch space in the last decade or so, and they decided they wanted to create a watch that would stand up to their standards as if it were a knife. So they wanted to create a Swiss Army watch to match up with the ruggedness and functionality of the Swiss Army knife. So what the company did was create this design and develop 130 tests, one for each of the years of the company's existence, to essentially highlight the ruggedness of the watch by using a lot of different harsh environment tests, but also to emphasize the quality and the age of the company. Here, let's pop this out. By the way, let's look at the bracelet first before I take it off and do a quick little just a look-see. What I like about this is that for a $400 watch, this in the quartz, it's about $400. You can get this with an automatic movement as well. It won't be as rugged, which is why, in my case, I wanted the quartz, because I wanted the most rugged version of this watch, because it's the indestructible watch in my collection. Everyone's collection should have at least one indestructible watch. This is very solid steel. It feels very robust. It looks quite robust. Obviously, the crown guards are aggressive and sharply sloped, but I doubt you could harm this crown if you deliberately tried to. The bracelet, while not integrated, does a good job of looking the part. And frankly, this is arguably the least expensive watch of quality that you could call a Swiss-made sports watch. Because if you compare this to, for example, the Bell & Ross 05, if you took the automatic version of this watch, every single thing the Bell & Ross says it is, this watch is. It's got Swiss manufacture. It has an aftermarket movement. I shouldn't say aftermarket. And it uses a third party movement. In the quartz case, it's the Ronda 715, and I believe in the case of the automatic version, it's an ETA. Whereas the Bell & Ross uses a Salida, also third-party movement, and they charge literally almost 10 times as much money for theirs as you can pay for a Victorinox, especially this specific model. Like I said, you can get it in automatic for just a little bit more. But when it comes to a watch that you can literally take anywhere, this totally fits the bill. It's been called the Swiss G-Shock, and I would make the argument that it fulfills that. It's sapphire crystal, stainless steel case, They limited each of the colors, I'm guessing, to a model series, so that gives you an opportunity to make it a limited series yet still make a lot, because of course they have this in red and green and black. So you know at least that they only made that many blue models with this configuration. But as I was saying, the bracelet is actually quite nice. It's nice and supple. It doesn't grab hair. The buckle is quite nice. It's not stamped. It's nice and solid. Has a good retention mechanism. And it's got a diving expansion because it's a 200-meter water-resistant watch, so you could legitimately go diving. I don't think that this is meant for serious divers, but if you were throwing on a wetsuit to go surfing, for example, you could throw this on and go surfing and not worry at all about this, even if it gets smacked into by a board or another surfer. In fact, if you were that worried, the watch actually comes with a rubber bumper. What I like about the bumper is that it has on the outside the military number. So 2 o'clock, 1400, for whatever, 8, 10, 20, 200 hours. So you could snap this on. And then that way, not only is it indestructible, but you won't get it scratched. So you can go through all kinds of things with it, take it off, and wear it with your suit on in the office on Monday, and no one would be the wiser that you were going whitewater rafting while wearing this thing. Now, yeah, like I said, let's pop off the, or not pop off, but let's open up the bracelet a little bit. We'll use the micro adjustment posts, which is the easiest way to open up a bracelet. Just go into the micro adjustment portion. And let's see, we've got some nice writing on the back: sapphire crystal, stainless steel, Swiss Army, Victorinox, water resistance. So it's, you know, basically everything it says. As you can see, it's quite a robust screw down back and quite an attractive face. I like the applied indices. I like the color matching, the nice flash of color in the red second hand. And if you look very closely, let me see if we can get this to resolve out. If you look, oh, come on, give it to me. Here we go. And if you look very closely, I'm losing it right at the edge, I guess. So maybe we'll try to bring it in. There's little red numbers showing the military time. So you could see the little 14 in red at the 2 o'clock. I mean, they're just nodding and paying lip service to it, but I like the very, very delicate touch in such a robust and chunky piece. And it is a quite a chunky piece. I'm wearing a notoriously chunky piece right here, wristwatch check. I've got my SIN 142 on, and as you see, the Victorinox almost comes across svelte, you know, slim and clean in comparison. The dial is obviously much less busy. The case lines in some ways look more futuristic. This is an attractive piece and is worthwhile adding to your collection. Like I said, everybody's collection should have at least one indestructible watch, and this is a very good candidate for that. It's also available with rubber straps. In this case, I got this watch with rubber straps. This one came with rubber straps, and then I bought the black version to give to my daughter as a gift, and she wanted me to put a NATO strap on it, so I took the metal strap from hers, and now I have both the metal strap and the rubber strap. I throw a NATO on it myself on occasion, but that's the beautiful thing about having a nice watch that has a pretty standard lug width. It can take a 22. They say 22. This is measuring out a little bit more at 21 and a bit. But I've put 22 millimeter NATOs on this with no problem whatsoever. And let's see what else. It says it's a 43 millimeter case, but I'm measuring 44. So, but it slopes very aggressively, so it depends on where you measure it, I guess. And then the thickness is, I've got 14 millimeters thick. So it's a robust piece, but it wears pretty well for a watch of its robustness because the lugs curve so aggressively down. So it's got a nice wrist presence and is a very striking piece. So it's a nice watch to wear if you don't have a big budget, but you want a watch that looks good and will be, and like I said, people who don't even know watches will at least recognize the Swiss Army. So thank you very much. This is Alex Pault for Talking Timepieces. I appreciate you taking the time today, and have a great one.